With an AEW star accused and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. With him having called out Lacey Evans over gimmick infringement, Sgt Slaughter recently said this about WWE approaching him to appear in vignettes to promote the return of Evans in January, telling Sportskeeda, "They came to me, offered this deal, and it was to make less money than I'm making now. Why should I give up making what I'm making and go get her trained and make her a star, and then there I am dangling out there and owned by the WWE? It didn't look so favorable for me, so I just said, well, I'm just going to stay with what I'm doing. If they want to come up with the right deal, they want to come up with the right scenario, whatever they want to do, I'd love to come back and manage her and show her what to do. I did it with Don Kernodle and Jim Nelson. I made them the privates, made them champions. I took these two fan favorites and made them a couple of the meanest guys in town. I could easily do that with Lacey and not even hurt my character. So if they would like me to come back, I'd have no qualms about sitting down and talking about it, but to offer me something like they did was a slap in my face. It was like utterly ridiculous what they offered me. I was making more money when I left there than they were offering me to come back and make Lacey Evans a star." Mentioning the possibility of a feud against Carlito, who is rumored to be returning to WWE, Dominik Mysterio told Metro, "For sure that's definitely an interesting match. I know he's had some history with my dad from back in the day, but for his sake I hope he doesn't. He's gonna have a problem with the Judgment Day, and we're gonna stomp him out. He puts his business in our business, and that just doesn't happen." Taking to social media for a video, the wife of Brutus the Barber Beefcake would issue this challenge to Hulk Hogan. Here's the clip.
Go.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I've been scratching my head for a couple of years now, trying to figure out how we can squash this beef. No pun intended. But why don't you pick up the phone and call your brother Brutai? Or do I need to come down to karaoke night with my 14-inch black mambas so we can hug it out? Let me ask you something, Hulkster. What are you gonna do when Missy Mania runs wild on you?
Explaining why Grayson Waller came up short in his first main roster bout against Edge, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, "They still have the idea that if you get beaten by a star, you're seen as a bigger star because you're in the ring with them. And depending on how the match works, sometimes that's the case. I was surprised Waller wrestled because I didn't think he'd be back this soon." When it comes to how Warner Bros. Discovery feels about AEW Collision's performance, Ringside News wrote that Fightful Select has disclosed that Warner Bros. Discovery is more interested in the ranking of Collision rather than the total number of viewers. The flagship AEW program Dynamite has consistently performed well on Wednesday nights, and Warner Bros. Discovery expects Collision to follow suit. The company places importance on Collision's relative standing among other shows in the same time slot. Sources familiar with the matter have indicated that Warner Bros. Discovery anticipates a potential decline in ratings for Collision in the fall when college football programming returns. In such a scenario, the company hopes that Collision will secure a position within the top 5 rankings, reflecting its ability to compete against other popular television offerings. By focusing on rankings, Warner Bros. Discovery aims to assess the relative success of AEW Collision in the face of stiff competition. This approach takes into account external factors such as seasonal programming shifts, which can impact viewership numbers across various television networks. Warner Bros. Discovery's emphasis on rankings provides a benchmark for evaluating Collision's performance and determining its position in the television landscape. Touching on plans to have Bray Wyatt's puppets become real-life superstars in WWE back in 2019, Mike Bennett told Metro.co.uk, early on when Bray Wyatt turned into The Fiend, Vince McMahon was always high on having Bray lead a group for some reason. He always wanted him to lead a group. We were about a week away from making it happen, where me and Eric Young were going to be a part of Bray Wyatt's group. We were going to they were going to bring to life the puppets. Each puppet was going to represent an actual person. I don't remember. There were talks that I was going to be Sister Abigail, and Eric Young was going to be a buzzard. On Twitter, Matt Hardy posted this, praising a match on Rampage, writing, "Dark Order versus the Elite was a fantastic match. It's nice to see Dark Order earn such a well-deserved spotlight. The Young Bucks and Adam Page are extraordinary talents that will unfortunately get their flowers way later than they should." A fan would reply, "Matt's right though. I know it's cool to hate on the Bucks and Hangman if you're a Punk Collision fan, but not for me. Give those guys their flowers." Hardy then wrote, "Between this and the toxic Cornette cult, these guys don't get the adoration that they truly deserve. The die-hard Elite fans are phenomenal and get why they're special, but there's a huge chunk of fans that fail to give them the credit they deserve. Give these guys their flowers." Jim Cornette then responded, "Geez, Matt, I can understand selling your soul for rock and roll, but selling it for Adderall? Even if you have to abandon your principles and verbally fillet these childish cretins for your check, leave my fans alone. It's not their fault. Tony Khan's not paying them enough to lie." Hardy then wrote, "Geez, Jim, haven't sold my soul. I'm sticking to my principles and telling truths. I feel morally obligated to do right by my friends, although that's probably foreign to you. I earn a check because I'm great at what I do and still employable. Keep on seeding dissension amongst fans with your shtick. It's too sweet." Cornette's podcast co-host Brian Last then chimed in, writing, "He thinks he is great at what he does. We've all been watching. His promos suck. His in-ring work-ish, and the only thing anyone has ever been interested in him doing is tagging in his brother. Jim telling the truth is seeding dissension? How many concussions is too many?" Hardy then said, "I am great at what I do." Brian Least, "I am great at pro wrestling. I am great at giving back and helping young talent. You're just some a-hole with an opinion, and that opinion doesn't mean shh in reality, but most importantly, just an a-hole." Last then wrote, "You've been a great enabler, but you know your crap has sucked for years, and that's Mr. A-hole to you. Toxic." Hardy then responded, "Another joke. Must be your forte, Least. My good. Your ish, you toxic bitch-ass a-hole." Last then said, "Are you trying to convince yourself? You're workish? Stay home. No one will care. You seem much more toxic than I am, with a track record to back it up. I'm better at what I do than you are at whatever it is you are still trying to do. Mr. A-hole to you." Hardy replied, "Don't have to convince myself. My live reactions, paycheck, and appearance fees solidify I'm good. I don't know about you, nor care to. So keep doing what you're good at, you goofy bitch-ass a-hole. I'll do the same, and you can continue to whine and cry about it like a baby." Last then wrote, "How dare you? You're way goofier than me. You understand that you are the one whining and crying, right? Can you still comprehend that much? Once again, you seem quite toxic. Is everything okay?" Hardy replied, "Me stating that you two constantly feel a toxic culture isn't whining. It's just hard truths. You constantly moaning and bitching about me wrestling is whining and crying. Can you discern that, or are you a mooncalf? I'm great, by the way. Just did a huge convention in Tennessee, have 4 beautiful kids, financially set for life, still get to live my dream, have major respect within my industry, am considered a living legend, been a huge contributor to pro wrestling, and no rando from the internet's opinion is gonna change any of this, especially not an egotistical a-hole like Brian Least. Congrats on the podcast. It'll be a great way to be remembered in history. Enough of this silly-ass cyber convo. It's time to go crawl up on top of my hot-ass wife." And finally, Last wrote, "You crying again? We call the bad bad. We call the good good. You wouldn't be whining if you had produced anything in the last several years that we could have said anything good about. However, as you know, you're workish. Have you thought about talking to someone?" Giving an update on Ryback Stalker, who has threatened the big guy online, Steve Carey of Ringside News wrote, "Can confirm that Ryback Stalker, Brandon Salahinasib, has not been arrested in Madison, Alabama, despite claims that the FBI had tracked him down." It would be added that while the FBI promised Ryback that they will be able to track down his stalker, there is still an issue that hasn't been solved even now. It seems that the FBI are not going to be able to track down Chase. We were finally able to report that the FBI tracked Chase down and he was arrested. Now we have a bit more information about what went down in Chase's criminal history. The resurfaced police report from October 4th, 2018 states that Ryback's stalker was captured without incident. When police searched his car, they found 2 firearms inside. Ryback's stalker, who is 5'9", 220 pounds, picked up a charge for aggravated assault with a firearm. The witness, who had a gun pulled on him, then failed to appear in court, as the court records noted. On December 18th, 2018, Brian Tyler did not appear for his deposition despite service of process. Brian Tyler did not contact undersigned to request that the deposition be moved to another date. The state of Florida advised that they have had contact with Mr. Tyler. In the end, Chase took a plea deal for that case on February 22nd, 2019. They let him off with early termination of his probation on June 4th, 2019. Taking to Twitter, Tay Melo, who is pregnant with Sammy Guevara's child, said this about her father, writing, "Are you proud of me now, Dad? A big F you for all the dads that abandon his kids. I can relate, but I'm lucky I have the best stepdad ever." One fan replied, "You abandoned that little girl in Brazil. This is your second child. Why are you trying to hide it?" Melo wrote back, "LOL, the things y'all make up are so funny. Oh no, you found out the truth. I'm so scared now." Taking to Twitter yesterday, former WWE star Fred Rosser revealed that his father had passed away, writing, "My pop lived a long life, but not long enough, and saying goodbye to my 98 years young pop is so hard. I will never forget how much you loved me and how much I learned from you. I vow to keep your memory alive. I'll miss your laughs, I'll miss your hugs, I'll miss your wisdom and the life lessons you so love to share. I'll carry you with me always, everywhere. Like you always tell me, be cool and don't be no fool." Of course, we wish the Rosser family all the best during this time. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.